I'm ready.
Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Abraham?
Present.
Commissioner Galt?
Present.
Commissioner Rhodes?
Here.
Commissioner Wilson? Mayor Kayler?
Present. Commissioner Abraham, if you'll do our invocation tonight, and Commissioner Rhodes, if you'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our Father which art in heaven, Father, we thank you so much for your character. Father, we pray that we ask that those families of the victims in Orlando be comforted. We are thankful of the outpouring of support and prayers from that community, not only that community, but nationwide. Father, help us to try to navigate through the so many emotions that we feel about the acts that occurred in Orlando. Father, help us to always strive to the high road. Help us to try always to reflect your character and loving one another. These things we ask in Yeshua's name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to its republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any additions or deletions? Steve? Okay. Commissioner Abraham, you had the minutes?
I do. I move that the reading of the minutes for June 7th, 2016 City Commission meeting be waived, and that the minutes of said meetings prepared by the city clerk be approved as written.
Second.
Everyone had a chance to read those?
Yes, ma'am.
City clerk?
Commissioner Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner Galt?
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes?
Aye.
Mayor Kayler?
Aye. Whereas subject to the approval of the Board of Commissioners, I hereby reappoint Zachary McMillan as a member of the Paducah Main Street Board. This term will expire June 10th, 2020.
I move that the Board of Commissioners approve the action of Mayor Kayler in reappointing Zachary McMillan as a member of the Paducah Main Street Board.
Second.
City clerk?
Commissioner Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner Galt?
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes?
Aye.
Mayor Kayler?
Aye. So glad to have Zachary back on the Main Street Board. He's done a great job on that. Absolutely. We go on to our municipal orders. Commissioner Rhodes.
Upon the recommendation of the city manager, the Board of Commissioners of the City of Paducah order that the personnel changes on the attached list be approved.
Second.
Steve?
Evening, Mayor, Commissioners, mostly summer stuff.
Keeping that pool going.
Takes a lot of people.
Yeah. Thank you. City clerk?
Commissioner Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner Galt?
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes?
Aye.
Mayor Kayler?
Aye. Commissioner Abraham?
I move that a municipal order entitled, "A Municipal Order Approving the Execution of an Online Grant Application to Obtain a 2016-2017 Edward Bryan Memorial Justice Accountability Grant through the U.S. Department of Justice in the amount of $11,963 to be used by the Paducah Police Department be adopted."
Second.
Okay, and so actually that will only cost us $774 with the grant?
Correct, Mayor. The overage for the cost to us is $774 that we're going to get 4 radios out of that grant. And historically, over the last 4 or 5 years, we've ran in the $10,000 to $13,000 range of what's been awarded to us. We've been able to use that for mobile radios, portable radios. I think the body-worn camera project got a little bit of that. So it's nice to see that. We've got about $50,000 or so out of that grant cycle in the last few years.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
City clerk?
Commissioner Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner Galt?
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes?
Aye.
Mayor Kayler?
Aye. Commissioner Galt?
I move that a municipal order entitled, "A Municipal Order Adopting the Fiscal Year 2016-2017 Pay Grade Schedule for the Employees of the City of Paducah, Kentucky" be adopted.
Second.
Steve?
These next two pieces are somewhat companion pieces. The first one is the pay grade table, and there's two changes from the last time we changed this, and it's dated wrong. I see it says March 22nd. That was the last time we changed it. Of course, it should say June 14th, but it's doing two things. One, it is incorporating all the 911 positions into the city grade system. We didn't have those positions previously classified or graded, so we created the positions and put them into the grade table. And the second thing it does is it moves the entire table by 1%. It doesn't mean everyone got a 1% raise because we moved the table. It's just move the grades to keep it current. This is the work that McGrath and Associates did for us, and I'm going to say it's 4 or 5 years old at this point. This is the third time we've made an adjustment to move all the salaries up a little bit. I think one time we did a 1.5. Last year we did 1%. This time 1% is just to keep the grades current with what we believe the market is.
Okay. Any questions? City Clerk?
Commissioner Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner Galt?
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes?
Aye.
Mayor Kayler?
Aye. Commissioner Rhodes?
Okay, I move that a municipal ordinance entitled municipal ordinance adopting the fiscal year 2016-2017 position and pay schedule for full-time employees of the City of Paducah, Kentucky be adopted.
Second.
This is the table that identifies the positions and the specific pays for the individuals depending on the particular collective bargaining unit they might be in. We have 3 bargaining units, so there were separate negotiated rates for their COLAs, the COLA for the non-bargaining unit employees. Same thing, if you look at the last page, we've incorporated the 911 employees and a total authorized workforce for that. Notable about that, it says 23. That's actually going to stabilize at 22. We're expecting 2 shift supervisor promotions. We're going to bring you probably within the next 6 to 8 weeks, and those will be promoted from within. And we won't backfill those with telecommunicators because they're still on shift. So we'll stabilize that one at a total of 22, which is their current strength that the previous board had authorized them to have. And then the other thing that's notable, there's the table allows a temporary increase in the finance department of 1 position to reflect a pending retirement in July. Want some overlap in training for a key accounts payable position. So we haven't hired that person yet, but we expect shortly after the 1st of July there'll be overlap in that position for at least a few weeks, and then we'll bring the table back and we'll take that authorized strength for that department back down to 11. So we'll have a few weeks of overlap.
Okay. City Clerk?
Commissioner Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner Galt?
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes?
Aye.
Mayor Kayler?
Aye. Under ordinances adoption, Commissioner Abraham?
I move that the Board of Commissioners adopt an ordinance entitled, an ordinance authorizing and directing the finance director to make payment to advance fire and rescue equipment for the purchase of rescue equipment to be used by the Paducah Fire Department. This ordinance is summarized as follows: that the City of Paducah hereby authorizes and directs the finance director to make payment in the amount of $27,745 to advance fire and rescue equipment for the purchase of the rescue equipment listed below to be used by the Paducah Fire Department: a Genesis E Force Cutter, $9,795, a Genesis E Force Spreader, $9,250, a Genesis E Force Battery, 2 at $160 each, $320, a Genesis E Force Ram, $7,495, and a Genesis E Battery Pack, $885.
Second.
City Clerk?
Commissioner Abraham,
Aye.
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Mayor Kayler.
Aye. Commissioner Galt.
I move that the Board of Commissioners adopt an ordinance entitled, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Tyler Technologies for the license of software and the procurement of related products and services. This ordinance is summarized as follows. This ordinance approves the execution of a software as a service agreement wherein Tyler Technologies, Inc. will provide the city with the software and related products and services that will accommodate the city's current data processing needs.
Second.
City Clerk.
Commissioner Abraham,
Aye.
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Mayor Kayler.
Aye. Commissioner Rhodes.
I move that the Board of Commissioners adopt an ordinance entitled, an ordinance revising Chapter 42, Article 2, nuisance code enforcement of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Paducah, Kentucky. This ordinance can be summarized as follows. This ordinance revises and amends Chapter 42, Article 2, which is known as the nuisance code enforcement ordinance, to define demolition by neglect, allow the city to determine demolition by neglect, to provide notice provisions to the alleged violator, to allow the city to refer such matters to the county attorney for prosecution, and allow penalties for same. Further, Section 42-44, liens, fines, charges, abatement costs, fees, penalties, attorney's fees, and costs, provides penalties for whoever violates any provision of this ordinance, and hereby amends and restates as follows. A, the city shall possess a lien on the property finally determined to be in violation of the nuisance code for all fines assessed for the violation and for all charges, costs, penalties, abatement costs, and fees, including without limitation of attorney's fees, and a $25 administration fee incurred by the city in connection with the enforcement of the nuisance code. The lien shall bear interest at the rate of 4% per annum until paid. B, a notice of the lien may be recorded by the office of the county clerk. C, pursuant to KRS 82.720, the lien should be superior to and have priority over all other liens on the property except state, county, school board, and city taxes, and may be enforced by judicial proceedings. D, in addition to the remedy prescribed in the subsection A, the owner or owners of the property at the time of the violation occurred shall be personally liable for the amount of all fines assessed for violation and for all charges, costs, penalties, abatement costs, fees, including without limitation, attorney's fees, and a $25 administration fee incurred by the city in connection with the enforcement of the nuisance code. The aforesaid amount shall bear interest at the rate of 4% per annum until paid. The city may bring civil action against the responsible owner or owners and shall have the same remedies as provided for the recovery of a debt. E, the city shall be entitled to recover from responsible owner or owners all attorney's fees and other costs incurred by the city by reason of the collection upon and enforcement of the responsible owner or owner's liability hereunder the lien which secures the same. Upon payment, determination of the nuisance code enforcement board or court order, the city shall be authorized to release any lien filed hereunder and recorded in the office of the county clerk. G, the provisions of this article shall be enforced in the same manner as other violations of this code. Any person violating any of the provisions of this article shall be deemed guilty of a Class B misdemeanor, and upon conviction thereof shall receive a fine not to exceed $250 or a jail sentence not to exceed 90 days. For each offense, each day that such violation continues shall constitute a separate offense. This article and the foregoing penalties shall not be construed to limit or deny the right of the city or any person to such equitable legal remedies as may be available by law.
Second.
So any discussions on that? That was the long piece that he read.
Yes, it was. I'll remember Tammy doing that to me.
City Clerk.
Commissioner Abraham,
Aye.
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Mayor Kayler.
Aye, and you did a great job. Very good.
I practiced.
So we go into our ordinances introduction, and we don't vote on these tonight. Commissioner Abraham?
I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, an ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to execute change order number 1 with A&K Construction, Inc. for the Dome relocation project. This ordinance is summarized as follows. The mayor is hereby authorized to execute change order number 1 for an increase in the amount of $2,348.26 with A&K Construction, Inc. for adjustment of minor additions and deletions to finalize the dome relocation project, increasing the total cost to $880,501.26.
Second.
Mayor
Rick?
Commission, I have Bacchus Oliver here with us tonight with Markham Engineering, who administered and basically oversaw the project on our behalf. If you all have any questions with regards to those, you can direct them to Mr. Oliver for that.
It's really a small amount and actually deleted some rather large amounts within that too. And
Actually, it's like, what, there, Commissioner, $2,300 or so on 878,000.26% on the entire project, so that was pretty tight for that.
And that's all covered under that bond issue from the transient room tax, so it's not money that
Yes, ma'am.
we're allocating tonight. Okay, thank you. Any other questions or? Commissioner Galt?
Thank you, sir.
I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, an ordinance accepting the bid of Danny Cope and Sons LLC for the demolition of the former nursing home property located at 501 North 3rd Street and authorizing the mayor to execute a contract for same. This ordinance is summarized as follows, that the City of Paducah accepts the bid of Danny Cope and Sons LLC in the amount of $44,805 for the demolition of the former nursing home property located at 501 North 3rd Street and authorizes the mayor to execute a contract for same.
Second.
Steve?
The next step in the evolution of that property, this is the property we purchased on North 3rd Street in I believe it was March of 15. The building's about 22,000 square feet. We've been using the building for training for the last several months. Both police and fire have done extensive training in the facility, and it's time for it to go at this point. We received bids on May 26th. Bids ranged from 127, almost 128,000 down to this low bid of 44,805. So we'll be recommending the low bid, a reputable demolition contractor from Paducah.
And we bought that building with the intention of demoing it.
We absolutely did, and this is being done with an eye toward redevelopment
Right.
of that site. We're even taking up the slab. There's a partial basement in the building. We're going to collapse the walls and take the basement out and fill in the hole and just get the site ready for redevelopment. We're not tearing out the parking lot. Remember, the hotel is, we've given them a right to use the parking lot, so we'll do our best not to destroy the parking lot through the demolition, just the building.
And Lingate Hospitality still has the option on that property?
They do. They have an option. We hope they exercise that option. We don't have to wait for that to occur. If we want to find another developer to do something else, we can do that. Of course, we also gave Wingate a right of first refusal for that. My strong suspicion is after they get open, and they get strong occupancy and average daily rate numbers, they'll be interested in exercising their option on that property. And so we've already negotiated a sale price too for the property, which somewhat contemplated what the eventual demolition price would be. So hopefully we could recover all of our costs for the acquisition and demolition.
Do you all have any, does anyone ever call you and say, so is the hotel being built? Do you have anyone? I have people ask me that.
I have people ask if it's on schedule, but I don't have them ask if it's being built.
And I'll say, do you ever drive downtown? It's because they can't see it if they're down at our downtown, near the market square, and I can't see it. And I said, well, it'll take a while to get the other floors up and really be able to see it above the.
What people don't see is Rick allowed them to close a portion of North 3rd Street behind the hotel, so that's a big staging area, and the rest of the staging is behind the flood wall. So they don't really see the equipment and the activity and the storage yard of everything they have, but they've almost the structure of the entire first floor is done. It'll start actually going up faster now. They have a very large crew working on it. It seems to be going very well at this point.
So yes, it is being built, and yes, it will open in spring of 2017. All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Rhodes.
Okay. Let's see. I'm sure. I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute an interlocal agreement between the City of Paducah, Kentucky and the County of McCracken, Kentucky, McCracken County, Kentucky, for a 2016-2017 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Accountability Grant to the U.S. Department of Justice. This ordinance is summarized as follows: that the mayor is hereby authorized to execute an interlocal agreement between the City of Paducah, Kentucky and the County of McCracken County, Kentucky for a 2016-2017 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Accountability Grant through the U.S. Department of Justice. The interlocal agreement is required to remain in partnership with our local disparate jurisdiction, even though the City of Paducah is the sole and authorized individual for the allocation. The term of this agreement shall be of the JAG Award, 1-year period beginning July 1st, 2016 and ending June 30, 2017, unless terminated by either party.
Second.
So this is another example of how the city and county work together?
Correct. This applies to the grant that we spoke about earlier. This just is the piece that binds us to the county with the interlocal agreement portion of it.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Abraham.
I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, an ordinance authorizing and directing the Finance Director to make payment to HealthWorks Medical LLC for annual medical screening services required for the Fire Suppression Division of the Paducah Fire Department. This ordinance is summarized as follows: that the City of Paducah hereby authorizes and directs the Finance Director to make payment in the amount not to exceed $26,100 to HealthWorks Medical LLC for annual medical screening services required for the Fire Suppression Division of the Paducah Fire Department.
Second.
Hi, Chief.
Hi, good evening, Mayor Commissioners. What you have before you is a way to pay HealthWorks. Last couple of years, we have not exceeded the $20,000. However, this year we had several tests that had to be redone and unforeseen things that our medical provider, through the process of doing our annual physicals and screening, directed us to do. We are exceeding the $20,000 mark by a little bit, but what you'll see for us going forward is that we're going to just try to plan for that. It's not something that we anticipated, but we're going to try to anticipate it going forward and get it cleared ahead of time.
So is this something you do every year?
Yes, ma'am, it is. Annual medical screening for all the firefighters, to include cancer screening for specific types of cancer that are related to the fire service. And it's we do it in conjunction with using our health insurance. A lot of the guys that have they use their health insurance with the city to get the regular annual physical part done, so that gets taken care of under the health insurance part, and then we have additional screening that's outside of the normal annual physical related specifically to firefighting that we have to pay for. So that's why we've enjoyed being at a low mark. It's because guys use their health insurance for that portion of it. But this year, because we had to restart some series of some shots that we've had in the past, but that you have to redo periodically, that's what bumped us up above the mark this year.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Galt.
I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a service agreement with Motorola for fiscal year 2016-2017. This ordinance is summarized as follows, that the mayor is hereby authorized to execute a service agreement with Motorola for yearly maintenance of the 800 MHz radio controllers, individual department radios, Paducah McCracken County 911 dispatch consoles, telephones, and other related radio equipment in the amount of $44,308.08. This contract shall expire June 30th, 2017.
Second.
Mr. Stringer, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Thanks
Good.
for asking. Good evening. This is just the annual contract that you see each year that comes before you, that we are in with Motorola, and it maintains our 800 radio system, as it says, and our phone system, 911 phone system. You'll see that there is a decrease of about $5,000 to $7,000 from last year and the years previous to that, and that is because our phone system that we're currently using, Motorola and Airbus vendors, are only going to support that through December. So after December 31st, that particular phone system will not have any support in case we have some type of failure. So that's why that's one of our lead projects with the consultant, is to get our phone system, a newer phone system in place, hopefully prior to that December 31st mark.
Any questions? Thank you. City Manager's report, do you have anything, Steve?
I don't.
Any commissioner comments?
Just that it's nice to see the playground is moving forward, getting that site ready. I ran into a few people that lives in the neighborhood that's excited about it, particularly the folks that live directly across the street with grandkids. They were excited. They were excited about it. So it's good to see that.
And Steve, the pop-up park, that looks great. Did a nice job with that.
Turned out very good, and we're ready to start the next one. It's 432 Broadway.
And today, I took Steve by, I have a friend that acquired one of the old streetlight bases. When we did the town lift downtown, we buried all of the underground. Well, this was one of the old cast iron bases. They're beautiful. So she's donating that to the city, and I took Steve by to see it today. And hopefully we can use that at the park at 5th and Broadway
It'd be
in
nice.
some capacity. We've had some different ideas on what we can do with it. So,
Just one other thing, the event at the pavilion with the Housing Authority and Police
Right.
Department, did I leave anybody out? Was it Police Department, Fire Department? Well,
housing.
Housing Authority.
Please.
That was a great event, and love to see that building, that structure, dual purpose like that. So everybody enjoyed that. I heard a lot of feedback from not only the adults that attended, but the kids that participated also.
They used it the next day also for tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of uses for that pavilion if we could keep it up longer.
Yeah. Keep calling Gerald and the boys up there.
That's right. That's what we need to do. And being, the best place to retire, and it's just a lot of good things going on in Paducah. Paducah's a great place. We've got a lot of good things going on, and we don't say it enough. Good place to live.
It is.
Right, any public comments? Anyone want to get up and talk about how wonderful it is to live in Paducah? All right. Meeting's adjourned. We don't have an executive session.